Hey there folks, it's Nick from Beyond the Specs. Today we've got the Tokina 2.9 11-20mm cinema style lens on this episode of Through the Looking Glass. Love it, hate it, don't know anything about it. This lens is something super special. It's part of Tokina's Cinema Collection, which is a new, higher build quality line of lenses that Tokina is marketing to cinema professionals. It's an ultra wide angle zoom that has a compact size that is really great for gimbals, making it one of the hottest wide angle zoom lenses out there on the market. In 2008, Tokina released an 11-16mm lens that was for APS-C size sensors. That lens became super popular with the DSLR filmmaking community. People are starting to actually modify their still lenses for cinema rigs. The modding community saw this lens and attached cinema gearing to it, and they sold that thing at an upcharge. Tokina ended up rehousing those still lenses in cinema housing. In 2018, the 11-20mm was born. What really defines this lens is that build quality. This feels like the first cinema lens Tokina put out. Their cinema lenses in the past were great, but were always in this plastic housing, reminding us of like Rokinons or Samyangs. Where this housing is all metal and feels like something you get in a Sigma Cine lens or a Zeiss lens. Tokina is finally making from being just a high quality still lens manufacturer to also being a high quality cinema lens manufacturer. And this lens is all about build quality. Super smooth whether you're changing focus, iris, zoom. Even the filter threads are great. Putting on ND filters is amazing. It's parfocal, which means as you zoom in and out and change focal lengths, your focus field stays the same. Absolutely crucial to documentary filmmakers and run and gun filmmakers who don't have the ability or the time to refocus shots as they change composition. For those of you who use gimbals, it's super important. Otherwise, you'd be jerry-rigging a matte box onto a drone. Now, obviously, there are things that we don't like about it. The iris ring doesn't extend all the way around. That limits our ability to put follow focus where we want to put it. But that's basically it. Like most cinema style lenses, this doesn't have weatherproofing. But if you want a weatherproofed rubber sealed lens, you can buy the photography version, which is like a fourth of the price. Tokina lenses are kind of notorious for their lens breathing, especially in lenses like the 100mm macro. But on this lens, you don't notice any lens breathing, and I'm not sure if that's the specific lens design or if that's because it's a wide angle lens. It's not apparent in any footage we took, and Tokina offers a variety of options for their cinema style lens, which is from Micro Four Thirds, Sony E, Canon EF, Nikon F, but what we want to talk about is the PL mounts. That's because we love PL mount cameras and because there's not a lot of options when it comes to wide angle zoom lenses for PL mount cameras. Those that are out there costs Mercedes money. That's what makes this Tokina lens so special. Its build quality is fantastic, but that cost comparison is out of the park. For those who do have those mounts like Micro Four Thirds, Sony E, Canon EF, it's probably a smarter move to buy that still version of this lens because you get autofocus, it's about a fourth of the price, and you can always modify it for cinema style shooting. For PL mount users, the only real comparable lens out there is the ARRI Ultra Wide. That is T4.2 and also retails at $92,000. For comparison, Tokina retails at $3,000. The ARRI Ultra Wide is one of the hottest lenses to use, but if you rent that for 7 days, you can buy this Tokina lens. In terms of image quality, it's pretty comparable. With this lens, you still have that lovely wide angle look, but you're not constricted by something like a fisheye. Speaking of lens design, we also have to talk about focal length. For those of us who love that wide angle look, this feels like a 16-35mm lens. Kind of feels like I'm looking at a wide angle landscape hanging up in a museum. Now, in terms of image quality, I didn't really see any chromatic aberration or any distortion near the edges. To get a closer look, we have to go to our master of codecs, Kevin.
Hey guys, it's Kevin, a post-production specialist here at Beyond the Specs. Let's take a look at the image quality of the Tokina Cinema lens. Now, the first thing I'm noticing off the bat in these images is a super clean and sharp look, especially on the edges. Even with the base Tokina lenses, those kinds of errors are very fixable in post, however, they tend to be a pain. It's really great to see that this new line of lenses maintains clarity while not giving up anything in the aesthetics department. It doesn't seem to have the signature look like the silky contrast of the Cooke lenses, but there definitely is a tangible style and visual identity to the footage that comes out of this lens. It does an amazing job of communicating depth in the images. There are a lot of lenses that'll give you a nice wide field of view, but just won't really give you any perspective in the images. As you can see here, the image appears to be more alive. There's considerable depth, highlight roll-off, and sharpness here, and it's very clear. the images stay strong throughout the whole frame without going soft at the edges. The zoom definitely adds range to what you can capture in your wides, and at any length, I didn't really notice any kind of distortion or visual errors. Whether you want an ultra portable cine lens for your kit that can be your go-to wide angle, or you just want a lens that can keep pace and is low maintenance enough to be your daily driver, this lens is a great option to get that cine glass look. We do want to call out that this is definitely a wide angle lens by design. While the depth effects and clarity are great, those qualities are not going to be something you're going to want to have while shooting close-ups at a wedding, and you can't really make any promises about distortion there.
Now, how do we feel about this lens? We love this lens. Obviously, we love this lens. Tokina represents balance, and that balance is between a high-quality cinema-style lens and a low-cost option that's not out there in any other format. In terms of look and look equivalent, this image quality is uncomparable to other lenses that are ultra wide zoom, don't have this high of a build quality and this sharp of an image look. And where we do have to compare it is those super expensive lenses, those ARRI ultra wides. Because of the price point alone, this lens knocks it out of the park. We think this lens is good for basically every cinematographer who uses PLM mounts, and that's documentary cinematographers. That's people who love capturing that nice, distinct ultra wide shot. People who really love using gimbals, movies, drones. This lens is a great ultra wide zoom option, and it gives you versatility. It gives you clear, distinct images with a lot of depth and a feeling of being alive in that image. If you're coming from a DSLR world, we'd probably recommend actually going with the still version of this lens. It has the same specs, has the same focal length, same t-stop, but it's a fourth of the cost. You get autofocus, and you can always modify your lens for that cinema style gearing. It's not as signature a look as a Silky Cook lens, but it's a great investment, and I'm proud to say I own an ultra wide zoom made by Tokina. That's this episode of Through the Looking Glass. Like and subscribe below, drop your favorite looks and lenses down so we can see what you guys are loving. Click our channel icon to see more of what we do. This has been Nick. Peace.